What if your data wasn't just stored, but was actually alive? I mean, that's the wild idea behind a project called YaFaD IAI. It's a totally different way of thinking, where we stop treating data like files in a cabinet and start treating it like a living, breathing system.
Just think about it for a second. Imagine if your data knew what was important, what could be forgotten, and how to organize itself for peak performance all on its own. That one thought is the foundation for a whole new approach to data middleware, and it's what we're going to dive into today.
But to really get why this living data idea is so powerful, we first need to understand the problem it's solving. And it turns out the entire AI industry is facing a massive, and I mean massive, data crisis.
You see, our traditional data systems are hitting a wall. It really comes down to three big bottlenecks. First, you've got latency. Our old databases just can't keep up with modern AI. Then there are the runaway costs from these always-on systems that are just burning cache. And finally, there's the sheer complexity of it all. Manually managing that much data is slow, expensive, and just asking for something to break.
And this all boils down to a problem of scale. Get this. A single AI agent can hit a database 100 times more than a human user. When you're dealing with that kind of volume, a half-second delay isn't just an annoyance. It's a systemic failure that can grind an entire workflow to a halt. So, how in the world do you fix a problem of this magnitude? Well, YaFaD's answer isn't just to build a faster database. No, it's to completely change the philosophy, moving from a static system to a living one.
Think about it. When you have hundreds of AI agents firing off thousands of queries per second, you get this massive bottleneck. It's basically a chaotic traffic jam of data requests that chokes the whole system. The solution is to put an intelligent Cortex right in the middle of that chaos. YaFaD doesn't just process requests, it organizes them. It filters out all the noise and transforms that chaotic mess into a clean, predictable, super high-performance stream of data.
And really, this represents a fundamental shift in thinking. We move away from the old way, these static systems that require constant manual handholding, to a new way that is dynamic, autonomous, and just radically more efficient.
Okay, so how does it actually work? Well, the system is built on three core biological principles that allow this data organism to function. And this, right here, is where it gets really clever.
So the first principle is all about prioritization. It's called the utility index, but you can just think of it like a pheromone trail left by ants. Every single time a piece of data is accessed, its scent gets stronger, which tells the system, hey, I'm important. This keeps the most relevant data in the fastest storage tiers all automatically.
Next up is balance. The system uses the golden ratio, yep, that famous mathematical constant you see everywhere in nature, to manage how data is structured. This makes sure that data tables grow and shrink in a really natural, organic way, which prevents any single part of the system from getting overloaded and just maintains the state of perfect equilibrium.
And the third, and honestly, maybe the most important principle, is forgetfulness. Just like our own brains, if a piece of data isn't accessed, its importance, that pheromone trail, it just fades over time. This lets the system shed dead weight, keeping it lean, fast, and focused only on what's relevant right now.
Okay, so a system with a utility index and golden ratio cascading. That sounds incredibly complex to implement, right? You'd think you'd have to totally rewrite your applications. But that's the most surprising part. The project's mantra really says it all.
It works because of this super clever SQL sniffer proxy. It just sits there invisibly between your application and your database. When your app reads a record, the proxy sniffs that request and sends a pheromone signal to the YaFaD core, basically saying, hey, refresh this data's importance. The best part? No code changes needed. It just works.
So when you put all of this together, you start to realize this isn't just a smarter database component. It's actually a blueprint for a new kind of living infrastructure, one that can evolve from a single data organism into a globally distributed network. And the vision for this is incredibly ambitious. The roadmap shows an evolution from its current state, where it kind of wraps around a legacy database, to a multi-organism network, and eventually to a fully autonomous broker that can literally go out and automatically find the cheapest cloud storage all on its own. So why does this all matter? Well, because the market for this is staggering. The AI economy is projected to be worth $1.3 trillion, and as the industry shifts from just training models to actually using them in the real world,
Every single one of those applications is going to need an efficient data backbone just like this.
For those of you who are curious about the tech, the biological analogy continues right under the hood. The system's nervous system, which handles all the network traffic, is built in Go. But its brain, the high-speed mathematical core, is written in Rust for that raw speed and safety. The two are just seamlessly connected to create a true hybrid powerhouse.
Ultimately, the project's own description might be the best summary of all. It doesn't just store data, it metabolizes it. That just perfectly captures the whole philosophy. It's not about passive storage. It's about actively processing, prioritizing, and purging information, just like a living organism.
And this brings us to a final thought. As the artificial intelligence we build becomes more and more autonomous, maybe the infrastructure supporting it can't just be faster or bigger. Maybe, to keep up, our infrastructure will have to become more intelligent, more adaptive, and ultimately, more alive.